The following is a presentation of the ForceCenter podcast feed.
As Obi-Wan Kenobi once said, hello there, and welcome to Databank Brawl, the podcast where we learn about Star Wars characters, discuss them, share our feelings about those characters, and then make those characters fight for our amusement and hopefully yours. I am your host, my name is Joseph Scrimshaw. With me, as always, is Ken Napzok and a little bit of whiskey.
Love it, love it, love it. Glad to be back, and nice to know our friend is still with us.
Yes, whiskey will be with us always. That's a horrible thought. Anyway, we have some great guests who are not whiskey. They are human beings. Right. From the great Star Wars podcast, Star Wars Minute, we have Alex Robinson.
Hello there.
And Pete the Retailer.
That's why I'm here.
Pete, do you want to share your real human last name?
No.
Okay.
I'm not against it. I just don't. There's no point in looking for me that way, unless it's on Instagram. But.
Okay. Besides that, so thank you for doing this. We did some Star Wars Minutes with you. I think that this Databank Brawl will probably come out before. I don't know. Time is always moving. Yeah, it's strange. It's
always
strange.
in motion. Our podcast.
Exactly, and their release dates. But I've done it, Star Wars Minute, many times. Been very happy to. There's great. Ken joined us for this round for Revenge of the Sith. So if you're a ForceCenter listener and you've never checked out Star Wars Minute, check it out. We get into some in-depth analysis and also just some bizarre humor. In-depth discussion of what would Palpatine be like as a grandpa. That is what you are in for. Grandpa Paps.
Oh, yeah.
Nope, that's horrible. Shouldn't have said that either. I got one more thing I shouldn't say, and then I'm going to stop hosting this show. So, guys, here's what this show is. Mm-hmm. I go to the StarWars.com databank, the official site, and I pick some weird characters, usually weird, and then I read the database entries. We kind of discuss how we feel about those characters, and then we just improvise a comedy fight about them. So we'll kind of all tell the story together. I'll pitch to you guys sometimes to play the characters or to make a noise or to say what happens next in the story. It's going to be a very noisy episode. Alex is hitting his whiskey hard now that he actually knows what he signed up for. So any questions before we begin?
Let's do it.
All right. So here,
that's not a question.
Here is our first combatant. It is from the prequels. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. It's Zett Jukassa.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Here is the official StarWars.com databank entry for Zett Jukassa. A young Padawan, Zett Jukassa fought heroically after clone troopers marched on the Jedi Temple to carry out Order 66. He fell in battle as a horrified Bail Organa looked on. Yep, I love doing these in scene where, as I'm reading this, see where the dime drops, where people are like, woohoo? Oh, Alex, I'll start with you. How do you feel about Zett Jukassa?
I'm pro Zett Jukassa, believe it or not.
One vote for Zett.
One vote for Zett, right? Okay, you seem to have a big physical reaction, so I want to know if it was out of love or hate or simply realization of who Zett is.
No, first I didn't recognize it, but then I remembered we literally just talked about Zett mere minutes ago on Star Wars Minutes, so now and then I was like, whew, I can do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Pete, do you have strong feelings?
They're mixed because I don't like Zett Jukassa in the context of the film itself, but extra textually, I understand. If I was making a movie, if I was making a giant movie and I wanted a cool kid to be, out there kind of being the last bastion of the Jedi Order, I would use my own kid.
Okay, so you are saying, as a father, you would choose to put on screen the death of your own child. Just gonna underline that. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Only if Jimmy Smits is there.
Okay, if Jimmy Smits is there to say, and so it is.
Right.
Ken, you always look up additional info for us on the old Wikipedia. I'm sure in the Legends tab, it's Crazy Town. But in Canon tab, we don't even go into Legends tab. Otherwise, every episode would be like 82 hours long.
We'd have to disinfect and everything.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
That's implied in our mandate. We have to use the Legends tab.
Well, you guys enlightened us on some stuff on our recording session. Human male, 1.57 meters tall, hair color brown, eye color blue, skin color light. He is, we obviously know, played by Jett Lucas, and he appears in Attack of the Clones with the scene with Jocasta Nu giving Obi-Wan some attitude about Kamino, and so he returns. A 2-part series. He's also mentioned in the Ashoka.
The Ashoka show.
Palpatine started it.
The Palpatine. It's correct. The Ahsoka novel. So he's definitely in canon, and we always try to read a quote that Wikipedia provides. He doesn't have a quote, but clone CT0000 says, "Get him."
That's sad that is how he is known.
Wait, CT0000?
That's the number listed here at /1010.
Okay.
So there's perhaps a shared line by the clones.
Yeah, and that's clearly a clone that doesn't even have a cool nickname.
Yeah.
Like Big Zeros? Come on.
See, and looking on the Legends tab, it says Zett Jukassa, born Warpak Scamini, and I'm out. I'm going back to
Warpak
canon.
Scamini. Hey.
Yeah, when you're born on a planet that sounds like a cream you apply for acne, I gotta back out of the Legends tab right away. All right.
Scamini!
Ken, how do you feel about Zett Jukassa?
I do like Zett a lot, only because there's a layer of prequel bad that I appreciate here, and it does tie to a great Jimmy Smits Bail Organa moment.
Yeah.
But I know Alex is a favorite of yours, and it's so you could please get it in there. I know Joe.
I'm trying to integrate. I'm very familiar with the original trilogy, but as I learn more about the prequels, I'm trying to integrate quotes into my daily life. And my current one I'm trying to work on is it's like a page, like a vocabulary builder.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
My current one is "and so it is," which is how Space Jimmy Smits kind of tries to hold on to his pride while running away from the clone troopers.
Yeah.
So do you feel it works best? It worked into day-to-day conversation when there's an element of shame, like your pants are falling down. You're like, and so they are.
Yeah. I think that's when there's nothing else you can say other than, "Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed."
Fair enough.
Yeah, you got me,
Man, so it is.
Your podcast sucks. Yeah. So it is.
As you back off.
You back off. So be it.
Parking lot of Zangu chicken.
jump in my.
I've always loved too that with Kit Fisto and other Jedi falling so easily to Palpatine.
Yeah.
He actually puts up a fight against armed clones. He's got some skills. He could have been a great Jedi.
Yeah, he's a Padawan, right?
Yeah,
at this point, he's still a Padawan. He's got the braid and everything, right? Yeah. So I mean, I think I really like him because it is that bit of flavor that gets skipped over in this area of the movie Revenge of the Sith, where some Jedi would fight back a little bit more. So that scene really pops for me. I like that he's just hanging out on the landing pad, clinging to the bottom, and then it's like, well, I'm going to wait for my moment. And then
what was he doing? We didn't even realize it.
It's
all of a sudden
weird.
He's just there. He just pops out of nowhere.
Yeah, they're like, "Get him!" And suddenly he's 50 feet down the platform.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know why in my mind he is clinging to the bottom of the landing pad and flips up over the ledge.
Maybe is that
I think I made that up in my head.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to rewatch that.
I think he's
Maybe
a
it's in
bottom
the book.
clinger. Yeah, maybe it could be in the book. So yeah, I do like Ken, you're saying. I love that he goes out and fights. This is interesting for us on Databank Brawl. Part of the reason we like to do this is sometimes the Databank entries are full of judgment and character informing bits. This is one of those really short entries that just tells us where he was and what happened to him, but it didn't tell us who he is. So I think we need to cling to the fact that he is good at hiding.
Right.
And he has a lot of bravery, a lot of chutzpah.
Fighting skills,
Yeah, fighting skills, willing to fight.
You know
Brave.
what that sounds like? Let me tell you a story about another guy who had, long hair and had some crazy ideas and was good at hiding, lots of chutzpah. Maybe didn't always jive with the Jedi Order. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay, I was curious if you were going for Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
At one point, yeah. But Obi-Wan, as we determined, is good at hiding, and so maybe he's of that model. They could have been a good. Let's say Anakin, he went become a regular Jedi. Obi-Wan's looking for a new Padawan.
Good process.
So wait, who was his master? We knew who Zett Jukassa's master.
Oh, it was that guy who was played by the stuntman who does choreographs.
Sindralig.
Sindralig
is the name of the Jedi. Yeah,
Nick Gillard. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, everybody. We know more than we need to.
Wait, is his name just the actor's name spelled backwards? Gillard? What is it?
It's essentially, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, it's Tuckerized where they just kind of scramble it.
Yeah. I learn something new every episode. Are you guys ready for your next combatant?
Yes.
All right.
I think you will be very familiar with this fearsome foe. It is a Shaak. Here is the
Shaak?
Shaak.
Okay.
Here is what the official StarWars.com databank entry is for a Shaak. These bulbous herd animals, tan in color and rotund in shape, roamed the grassy fields of Naboo and were raised for their meat. Both the Gungans and the Naboo shepherd herds for their use. The Battle of Naboo that transpired between Trade Federation droids and the Gungan army took place on a typical Shaak feeding ground. Once, in a ham-fisted bid to impress Padme Amidala, Anakin Skywalker tried riding a Shaak by balancing on top of it, with mixed results. Now, this is the kind of databank entry that I do this show for. Yeah. This is full of judgmental words. Ham-fisted, mixed results. This is, beautiful. Beautiful. Ken, do you have additional Wikipedia knowledge about the Shaaks?
Yeah. They are non-sentient. That's their designation. But I
non-sentient.
Think,
that's taken a little far.
That's like telling me my dog doesn't have feelings. Like, come on.
Shaaks don't sit around and wonder why they're here. They don't have existential dread.
They don't vote, but they go out and do things. Average height. Now I think that's from feet to the top of their bulbous buttocks.
Their rotund backsides.
1.80 meters. Skin color brown, though it's mixed with some other little markings there. Distinctions: 4 legs and a plump body.
The way I like them.
Herbivores, for sure, like we said there.
Okay. I love these things, but we'll get into that more. How do you feel, Pete, about the Shaaks, or as I have long thought of them, the butt cows?
Yeah. No, I don't mean to be a negative Nelly here, but I'm not a fan of the Shaaks and everything they represent. They just don't look kind of like they could exist the way that they do. And then also that whole scene, then we get kind of fake puppety looking Anakin riding the Shaak with mixed results, and. I would be better off without Shaaks, I think.
Okay, so you dislike them narratively and the physics of them. Because you feel their butt is too big for their little stubby legs.
Yeah, just their whole...
There's nothing about them you like.
No. Even the name is a little bit awkward, but I'm not like... Because they're Shaaks or they're Shaak. Like, it's 2 A's, and it seems like it's an attempt to make them more alien... give me a good moof any day.
All right, here you go.
I'd rather be milking a moof than riding a Shaak. That old Star Wars saying.
Yeah.
Alex, how do you feel about it?
I'm pro Shaak. Any non-sentient animal that is going to humiliate Anakin Skywalker in front of a girl he's trying to impress automatically gets my thumbs up.
All right, I like that. Do you feel like the Shaak did that on purpose? Like the Shaak could sense, this is a horrific date, and I am going to shame this idiot.
I'll go even farther than that. I think they kind of could foresee his future. So they're like, let's just kill this guy now. Try to break his neck.
They tried
the chosen one.
Trample Darth Vader.
Yeah, there's a deleted scene where like 30 Shaaks were just running over him.
It's like a Shaak council.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's take him out.
And he's just sitting there giggling. He's like,
oh man, I love the sight. The visual image of a Shaak council sitting in a circle, their heads all inside the circle, and then 12 large butts facing out. All right, Ken, how do you feel emotionally about the Shaaks?
I'm leaning more towards Pete here. This is probably one of my least favorite sequences in all of Star Wars. Though I love Naboo. I love Naboo. It's always my answer of what planet would you live on? It's either Endor or Naboo, right? Yeah. Bright Tree Village or the plains and hills and lakes of Naboo.
Shaak Fields.
The Shaak Fields. But this sequence, sequence doesn't hit. It's got some of that awkward, forced Padme Anakin dialogue. There's the content again not bad. I like there's a lot of history between them, but it's really forced. It's like George was like, and then they fall in love.
Yeah.
And then just some of the remember this is a time period where Legolas is riding around Oliphants and
it's the same kind of shaky legs.
Yeah.
That don't work. Yeah.
And this is you're looking at this really bad CGI.
All right, I am hearing a lot of Shaak shaming.
Yeah.
Can I say another thing why I like pro Shaak thing?
Yeah.
Pro Shaak.
Not only did they humiliate Anakin, but then Anakin and Padme are rolling around in the grass, and you have to think there's some Shaak. What are those Shaak
droppings?
Shack dung? Shack pies?
Yeah, Shaak pies. There you go. That's the best.
Pies.
Yeah.
I've been to Shack Pies in New York.
Great pizza.
Some notes on them as well. They were in the Clone Wars, the animated series.
They fought in the Clone Wars?
They fought the Clone Wars with your father.
Did the Shack know my father?
Yeah. They were navigators and spice freighters. We know the forelegs, their bodies plump with blubber. Shacks were unable to swim due to their size and so avoided the swamps of Naboo. If infected with the waterborne blue shadow virus, Shacks would die instantly.
Oh, right.
While members of most other species had 48 hours to live before the virus became fatal, they just were like, ooh, no. So that is from the Clone Wars and the Clone Wars encyclopedia book.
Yeah, I remember that episode. That's a good couple episodes there. Yeah. Anakin desperate to save Padme. Here's how I feel about the Shacks. I understand that they are in a not great scene. I understand the CGI wasn't good, but I don't think it's fair to blame the Shacks as we have decided a mostly sentient species. Here's what I've always liked about the butt cows is they look so ridiculous, and I like the parts of Star Wars that really take you out of taking it too seriously because something is just so ridiculous. And back when Attack of the Clones first came out, they were one of the first creatures that I went to memorize the name of.
Oh, yeah.
And friends were impressed, and it was like a party trick where people would be like, hey, tell the name of the butt cows. Like, it's a Shaak. People would be like, what? He knows the name of the butt cows. So maybe there's a little bit of a place in my heart for knowing.
How would anyone know you were right? To other people, yes, it's true that those are called Shacks.
Guess I knew fools who were so foolish to listen to the trivia of the fool.
Yeah.
Or just people who were too embarrassed to argue with you. They're like, yeah, Shacks, that's cute. Good.
This was long before there were things like Star Wars trivia competitions where somebody could be like heralded for winning. This is back when you're like, you fool, what have you done with your life? Right. You know the name of the butt cow. So maybe it was pity appreciation.
There you go.
But I like how weird they are, and I like just picturing them and all of their context. This new information that's brand new to me, that the Battle of Naboo that happened on a hill that would normally be Shaak feeding ground. Where did their poor Shacks go?
Yeah.
Because they're not chased. There. They were chased from their fields.
Yeah, right.
They were ridden against their will by Anakin Skywalker.
And maybe chasing them out of their fields led them to a new area, and then they kind of it forced them to grow as a species.
Yeah.
Push them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Let's go graze at the lake country where everything is beautiful and everything is peaceful. All right, so we'll have to agree as we go into our story about exactly what is the characteristics of a Shaak, because it is now time to fight. So here's how we do it. We decide kind of where and when the fight should take place. We go crazy, but I don't like breaking time, so I want to be a time that Zett Jukassa would have still been alive. So I don't want to be setting this during Zett Jukassa's riding a Shaak in the Galactic Civil War. Right. So I would think that this should maybe be during the Clone Wars. Then maybe all the Jedi, maybe Sindralig and Zett Jukassa go on a mission to Naboo. Does it sound good to you, Ken?
I'd like to fight on the beautiful hills of Naboo.
Let's go to the lake. We've never had a fight at the lake country.
No,
the thing's almost 100 episodes. This damn thing, we've never fought in the lake country. So that is where we are going. So, Pete, do you have an idea of what mission during the Clone Wars would have sent the expert Jedi fighter Sindralig and his pretty brave Padawan Zett Jukassa to the lake country of Naboo?
Let's see. Where during the Clone Wars do we see? It's a time period that I'm less familiar with because obviously it's between movies and I haven't.
You've been concentrating on the movies for
Yeah,
for a few minutes.
For a few minutes.
It's hard for me to back up out of, even just minutes before, even the beginning of the movie that we're currently covering. I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, let me ask you some leading questions. Do you want them to be on an aggressive mission, or is this a peacekeeping sort of just Jedi business, like negotiations?
Negotiation. They've lost all communications.
That could be it. They could have lost communications.
There you go. They're there just to check out the. Isn't there some kind of communications tower or something like that?
Yeah.
Is that really in there?
I'm sure there is.
We get to make stuff up on this here podcast. So
so there's they're checking up on the new communications tower that is supposed to be working fine, but is having some problems.
I like this because C.O. Bibble is still a part of the government, and he has become obsessive. He is spending most of Naboo's money building communication towers everywhere because he never wants to be invaded
again.
And I think that he sent a message to the Jedi that this one communication tower went out by the lake country. And like Yoda and Mace Windu are like, C.O. Bibble, he's never going to let this go. He's got a whole thing about communication and what happens when you lose it. He wasn't wrong, as your T-shirt says. So I think that Sindralic, I was like, all right. And he doesn't even want to have anything to do with this. He lands. He gets one of those weird water space gondolas.
Bongo?
The bongo? No, the thing that Anakin and Padme.
Right. Little HR Puffin stuff kind of boat.
Yes. The space gondolas. That's all I got. And he just goes out to the lake for a peaceful time and says, "This is not a problem. Padawan Zett, this is a good learning experience for you. You go out in this field by the lake country where the communication tower is located, and you fix this." Ken, what does he encounter when he gets to the communication tower?
As he gets off the boat and he starts walking, you have to hike a little bit. It's not quite Ray walking up to meet Luke on Act 2, but he's got to go up a little bit. And he gets to the top of this, comes over the hill, and he sees a pack of Shaak.
Okay.
Of Shaak. What would you
Shaak pack.
A Shaak pack. Yeah.
They say that. As they go up there, they're like, Shaak pack, and they high five.
Well, they smush their butts
They go to
together.
high five, and then they all fall over because they're totally
That's what they're doing internally, but from the outside it sounds like...
And he giggles because he's like, those look like butt cows. He's a kid, He's still a kid. He's not so long ago that he was stolen from his family and put in the Wizard Academy.
Yeah.
So he approaches very carelessly.
Yeah, okay. And then, Alex, one of the Shaak is an extra curious Shaak. What is this Shaak's name?
Oh, the Shaak's name?
Yeah.
Let's go with Ted.
Ted.
Ted Shaak.
Ted Shaak.
In the language of the Shaak, when they call out to one another, it's like, but that is Ted. He knows himself as Ted.
It's like, Ted. It's like filters.
It's weird quick. Okay, so Ted sees they've been grazing here a lot, and they haven't picked up a lot of food. And interestingly, some of the mushrooms that grow around there are shiny.
Oh boy, now we're talking.
Yeah, but they've been grazing there a lot. And Ted, the curious Shaak, sees something shiny hanging from the belt of this human. And thinks, maybe that's something I can eat.
Like a shiny berry.
A shiny berry. Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, look it up on Wikipedia. It's the shiny berry. They're called space gondolas, and then Shaaks eat shiny berries. But cows eat shiny berries. That's a sentence I said. Anyway, Ted goes galloping lightly forward, and Zett is thinking like, maybe this. I've heard that Jedi can have real connections with organic creatures. Maybe it's it just senses I'm a Jedi and it wants to connect with me. And Ted runs up, and Ted grabs Zett's lightsaber in Ted's mouth, and then turns around and runs away. Alex.
Slowly.
Yeah, runs.
Blubbers away.
Ted thinks he is going fast, but from it is like watching Jell-O in slow-mo. What does Zett say? What does he proclaim, and what does he do, Alex?
He is very upset because the Ted grabbed the lightsaber, but it is still attached to his belt. So he's basically dragging.
He actually gets dragged along. Okay.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay, and what does that say? What does he cry out?
He'd probably cry out for I forget what the master's name is. Syndraulic. That's probably what he would say. So, Master Syndraulic, help me! I'm being dragged by a Shaak. I'm the victim of a Shaak attack.
And this echoes through the hills, and all Syndraulic hears is Shaak attack, Shaak attack. He doesn't hear any of the actual content.
Wow, that's
and Syndraulic is like, that sounds nice. It's very, very, very peaceful. All right, so Pete, he's being dragged along. Zett is afraid a little bit for his life. Does he reach out with the Force to try to commune and calm this beast? Or does he fall to his darker impulses and get aggressive?
I think when threatened, as we've seen in movie continuity, when threatened, he tends to just lash out, and so I think he will. He, as we said, they're not sentient, so he doesn't feel necessarily a need to communicate with them. He's just kind of like, hey, this crazy thing is basically this biological machine is trying to eat my lightsaber. So he just lashes out at it, and I guess if he's getting dragged by his lightsaber, he'd probably start kicking it.
Okay.
Yeah. In the face?
In the butt.
In the butt, Bob.
Those are the two options because there are almost no other body parts. So he goes for the face. So Ken Zett is kicking the Shaak in the face. The Shaak gets disoriented and starts running away from the rest of the Shaak pack. Doesn't even know where it's going. It's having a hard time, Ted. It's trying to chew this shiny berry that's real hard.
Yeah. It's very similar to when Aragorn was dragged off by the creature there in Two Towers.
Warg.
Is that what it is? Warg? Yeah. Warg. Yeah. So Zett is kicking as ferociously as he can. But he's not finding purchase on that face with his foot.
His little foot is sliding off. And then a very alarming thing happens. Zett is getting more and more frightened, and Ted is chomping on the shiny berry until he activates the lightsaber.
Oh boy, classic rookie mistake.
Yeah, classic rookie mistake. Now, I think Zett is questioning: is this?
Is it
a Sith butt cow?
Is it a Sith Shaak?
Is this a Sith Shaak?
Sith Shaak.
And he yells that out, Sith Shaak, and it echoes through the hills. Sith Shaak, Sith Shaak, Sith Shaak.
And he wonders, is this the Master Shaak or the Apprentice Shaak?
Yeah, exactly.
He's not sure. I think the lightsaber also, when it ignites, it singes a little bit of Zett's outfit. Because it's kind of back at him. It's
This is
like it's like Padme in the arena. All of a sudden he's got a bare midriff.
Yes.
He cuts away his robes and exposes his midriff. And Zett knows that he needs to do something, so I think he disengages his belt. He takes his belt off entirely. Pete, is this a smart move? What happens physically?
Well, first his pants fall down.
These belts aren't for show.
No, they're functional Jedi belts. Yeah,
and this is why some Jedi wear belts and suspenders.
Yes.
So now he's got basically a crop top and no pants, but he's free to move. So now he's much more mobile and much more kind of aggressive. So he can kind of reconvene and attack the Shaak.
Yeah, okay, so cinematically, the Jedi pants get caught by the wind and they waft.
Right.
And maybe we'll catch up with them again later.
Jedi Pants, a Star Wars story. Coming to theaters in 2038.
But now Zett is free to do whatever he wants with his body. So, Alex, how does he use this?
He makes sweet love to the Shaak.
He is a teenager who can do whatever he wants with his body. he's alone in the lake country. What does he do?
Nobody can see him.
No one can sense him.
He has no pants on.
He has no pants on.
Oh, the whiskey's running this episode now.
Oh, boy. Well,
what does he do to attack the Shaak?
Okay, yeah, let's have. I'm going to say he remembers hearing the stories of Anakin Skywalker, and he's like, I'm going to try to jump on top of that thing's butt.
I am going to ride.
Oh, like the legends of Anakin.
Exactly. I'm as good as him. My father runs this place.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So he gets free. He bounds off the ground. He does a cool, unnecessary flip.
Yeah.
And he lands, and his feet find purchase on the butt back of the Shaak.
Yeah.
How does this go, Ken?
It goes well. Actually, it's a good move. It's a good strategy. He actually, a la say a Teen Wolf, is now surf riding the Shaak as the Shaak is trying to buck, and the Shaak still has the lightsaber in its mouth, right?
Yeah, swinging back and forth.
So it's cutting the grass.
Look, I'm a Jedi.
Yeah.
I'm a Jedi.
Yeah. says Ted Shaak. Yeah. If they could only see Ted Shaak now, is what he's thinking.
I'm a Jedi.
Yeah.
Shaaks are so much more sentient. You know, here's the sad thing is that the people of Nemu don't realize it's a symbiote triangle. The Shaak are just as intelligent as the Gungans.
It's almost like,
come on, that's not that much.
It's similar to the dolphins in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy the whole time.
So long, and thanks for all the shiny berries.
But it's actually working. Zett is on top of him as using the Force to stay balanced as Ted Shaak bucks.
He's doing an amazing job, Zett, of writing this. But here is the thing that he would know if anybody who would bother to research the Shaak more. They are like the perfect creatures of acupuncture science. They have pressure points that are attached to different feelings and needs and wants. And what Anakin didn't realize
is
chakras. The look of the light in your eyes.
Yeah, point Alex.
Yeah, really. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, you just won Databank Brawl. No matter who wins the fight, you won Databank Brawl. So he is accidentally pressing on the anger chakra of the Shaak, which is exactly what Anakin Skywalker did, which is why it tossed him off and didn't turn around, but then tried to run him over,
tried to kill him.
So now Ted suddenly just sees red. He gets focused in his anger. And he stops suddenly and sends Zett flying in front of him. Zett crashes to the ground. Ted the Shaak gets the lightsaber in a good grip and goes charging to cut Zett apart with his own lightsaber. Now we have a pantsless teen who's about to be cut in half by a butt cow. Pete, how does he get out of it? Or does he?
The image of this episode is not safe for work.
No.
Right. He is a teenager, so I was originally going to say maybe he should, kind of reach out, with his feelings and kind of, mind trick essentially the Shaak.
He tried that and it wasn't going well for him.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in this environment that he can use, that he can summon his Jedi power?
It's an open field, so I can't think of much. A classic Jedi trick. He lifts up a rock.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He lifts up a rock to kind of. I don't know if that would. Can he try to stumble, make the Shaak stumble, or would it make more sense just to kind of hold it up in front of it so he just runs right into it?
Well, let's talk about what we know about Zett.
Yeah.
Zett is brave, but he's also desperate and a little bit embarrassed.
Right.
So I think he wouldn't be thinking well.
Right.
So I think he just would look for a rock. I think he would just leave it hanging in midair, trying to decide what to do with it.
And let Ted run right into the rock.
Yes.
Head first.
Ted headbutts a rock that's floating in midair. And this just shakes Ted's whole, the ripples going through that butt cow.
I think the lightsaber goes flying a bit.
It turns off. And it's rolling down the hill toward the lake. And Ted is shaking it off. And you know what? I think this is a good point to pause our combat. Because we always do here on Databank Brawl. And we decide who really should be the victor. And based on the story we're telling, does one or the other deserve to win? Do they have a moral right to win? So, Ken, you've done this more times, so I want to start with you. Who do you want to win this combat and why?
I'll tell you, I kind of want Ted Shaak to win. I think he deserves it. I think he was just minding his own business, and then this interloper comes in, and we know the hubris of the Jedi is pretty strong in this period.
Yeah.
This is what Luke was referring to exactly.
Yeah.
He might as well have told Rey, and then that time Zedd attacked a Shaak.
It's supposed to be one with the nature.
Yeah. However, I don't see a bulbous blubber butt cow actually defeating a young Padawan who is rough but very skilled.
Okay, so you feel the Shaak should win
split.
morally, but
normally
Zett has the skills.
Yeah, normally I go one direction with both categories.
Yeah, no, I like this. Like this is building the tension. Pete, who should win and who do you want to win?
Yeah, I think I got to go the same. It's Zett Zett Jet. Zett Jet. Zett has the skills, but he really, it is the. It's Ted's, it's Ted's town right there. He's just walking right in there, and I think it should basically, it should be Ted by a nose, and it should be kind of a fairly amicable. Be like, okay, fair enough, you won. Like, so it goes,
and so it is.
So it is. All right, Alex, how do you feel? Who should win? Who do you want to win?
I'm gonna say Shaak for both. Ted Shaak for both things.
Ted Shaak for
2 votes for Ted
and best film. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if television has taught us anything, it's that humans getting attacked by animals is funny, and you're like, well, they probably deserved it. So I'm going to say that's what I'm going to go with.
This is the YouTube video clip of Star Wars.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Here to yakety sacks. To shackety sacks.
It's going to be shared by your uncle 4 months after it's a popular video.
Too funny, had to share. Like,
If Vine still existed, the Shacks would be the stars of Vine, right? Okay, I think what I'm going to say is I think we want to craft a narrative in which the Shack has a decisive victory, but somehow Zett rescues... But cow.
It's a decisive victory, but once he wins,
the Shack has a decisive victory, but so the Shack is going to win. However, I think Zett is going to have some moment of glory to reclaim his shame, to push away his shame, force push away his shame. So, Ken, do you have a vision of how this end begins?
So where we last left there, the lightsaber is falling off. It's
rolling, so
rolling.
It's still
Ted
in
Shaak
play.
has hit the rock.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Ted Shaak is brained. Zett's getting up.
I think
lightsaber's basically rolling between them.
Yeah. I think Zett stands up, force calls the lightsaber to him, ignites it, and he is about to strike him down.
Ooh.
And suddenly the teachings of his master, the teachings of Yoda, the teachings of the Jedi course through his brain.
Yeah.
I'm giving into anger. I'm giving into my shame, embarrassment. I'm letting these things. Embarrassment leads to suffering. Like it's the unspoken truth of Yoda's words. And then I think he turns his lightsaber off.
And I think that Ted the Shack takes full advantage of Zett's noble kindness. I think Ted executes a move that is well known amongst other Shacks. This is how Shacks fight. They have tiny heads, so unlike rams or other species, they don't headbutt. They butt clash. Or butt bump. Whatever you'd like. Ted Shack says, "Rrr, rrr, rrr," and he executes this brilliant turn. So he still has his momentum on his little legs. He dances like a tap dancer, and with all of his momentum, his huge butt cow ass slams into every part of Zett Jukassa's body at once. And Zett goes flying through the air.
Yeah.
Wow.
What happens next, Pete?
Well, considering it's the prequel era, I'm going to say that Ted will fart.
I was literally going to say the exact same thing, including the part about being the prequels.
Ted can fart twice. I will allow that.
And I was... Let's do. I think at some point we said there was a river nearby, right?
Yeah. There's a lake. Yeah, it's lake country.
Lake country. There you go. So Zett will land in the lake. So it's not a total. He gets embarrassed some more, but not roughed up. He's not physically as damaged. He's more his ego is bruised.
Okay. Yeah. And does anyone else in our narrative fart, Alex?
In a narrative.
Keep it in the narrative.
Yeah, I think once Zett goes in the lake, he farts because it'd be funny to see the bubbles go.
Yeah.
And then because he senses a disturbance and he senses his Padawan farting, then also the master while he's fixing the tower over there also farts. And
Yeah. And I think Zett sees his master coming. He's like, "What am I going to say? What am I going to do?" But he realizes However, Shaaks are the however cows.
Yeah.
He realizes at the last moment he can save his dignity. His lightsaber once again comes rolling down the hill right to where he is.
Yeah.
He catches it and he turns just in time. The water is covering his pantslessness, so Sindralig can't see. And Sindralig rose up in the space gondola and is like, "Hey, Zett, how's it going?"
Yeah.
Was that you farting?
I think Zett tries to, I'm just, I was looking for something. It's all good. Everything's fine here now. And I think Sin looks him directly in the eyes and then gives him a look and then pulls up his pants and says, "Guard these with your life."
These pants are your life, says Sindralig. And is this lecture's happening? The camera pulls back to our final shot. We see Zett's pants actually flowing through the air. They suddenly land high up on the communications tower, and they dislodge the shiny berry that was stuck up there, making the tower not work. And somewhere far away, C.O. Bibble is like, yes, this means no invasion. And
Call off the invasion.
slam to credits.
And scene.
Oh, man.
Written and directed by Jet Lucas.
His fan film, that his father introduced into Star Wars canon. That was a great one.
It was I didn't know what was going to happen next. It was riveting.
Sometimes when you think it's going to go in an obvious direction, a gonk droid wins.
Gonk droid walks on C.O. Bibble's face.
Is this before or after in our timeline?
Oh, yeah, I think this is before. So C.O. Bibble still has a little while to live before a gonk droid crushes his face out of anger. Thank you so much for joining us, Pete.
Our pleasure.
Alex, we appreciate
having us.
Obviously, please plug, we'll start with you, Pete. Plug away on Star Wars Minute and any other personal stuff you want to plug.
Sure. Star Wars Minute. We're all over the place at Twitter, Star Wars Minute, Instagram, the Star Wars Minute, etc. StarWarsMinute.com. You can find all that. And also on the side, I know on your Obsessed show, I was talking about Beck, but I also too into the band Devo, and so I do a show called ABC Devo. Where we go
that's
alphabetically through all the Devo tracks. And we are, I think we're over that. We're maybe halfway through that. That's twice a week. So abcdevo.com.
And your personal Twitter handle is Pete the Retailer?
Pete the Retailer, yes.
Yeah. I strongly encourage following both Pete and Alex on Twitter.
Love it.
Alex?
In addition to my duties as co-host on Star Wars Minute, I took that same formula, and my brother and I do a podcast called The Godfather Minute. It's only one episode a week, so it's going to take us about 5 years to get through this entire movie, but you can check that out at godfatherminute.com. And also, I draw comic books, and you can see that at comicbookalex.com.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. For the sake of all that is holy and decent, our ForceCenter listeners should know Alex drew the Ewok for us on our I Hurt Murder Bears shirt.
It's true.
Yes.
Yeah, did a beautiful, beautiful job. We emailed back and forth like, what is the exact amount of crazy in the Ewok's eyes?
And you got it.
Alex nailed it.
Thank you.
It's one of my favorite shirts to wear because it gets the most reaction of our shirts. Yeah.
And Ken, where can people find you?
You can find me at Ken Napzok. That includes Twitch, twitch.tv/Ken Napzok, where I'll play Star Wars, Battlefront, wrestling, and it's a place for you guys to hang out and chat with me.
Excellent. You should follow all those people. And if you have characters that you want to see fight on Databank Brawl, let us know. You can send in suggestions out of the places I'm going to list in a second and use the hashtag Databank Brawl so I can find your suggestions. We want to thank Tony Thaxton for our awesome theme music. Tony is a fan of Star Wars Minute as well and a guest on Star Wars Minute, so you can find him there. You were going to say something, Alex?
Well, he did our closing theme for Attack of the Clones. He did his cover of Love Theme from Attack of the Clones.
It's so beautiful. Tony's music is, it's so great. And he has a Patreon where he makes more Star Wars music, so check that out. If you want to support ForceCenter on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/ForceCenter. If you want to buy that I Heart Murder Bears shirt with Alex's art on it, you can go to tpublic.com/user/ForceCenter. We've got a new website at forcecenterpod.podomatic.net. That's really easy to memorize and say. You can also check out my podcast, Obsessed, and go to my website, josephscrimshaw.com, for live shows and comedy albums and all that. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as @Joseph Scrimshaw. You can like Force Center on Facebook and follow us on Twitter as @ForceCenterPod. And until next time, as Luke Skywalker once said, well, no one was really listening to him. I care. That's it for Databank Brawl.